Husband, M30, is addicted to pornography. Hello, I'm F29 and I have been married to my husband for 3 years. I come from a very conservative culture where divorce is taboo and sex isn't talked about at all. But we do live in the USA. Met my husband through family friends about 5 years ago and he was eager to pursue me. My parents and everyone else wanted me to get married to him because he seemed like a really kind and caring man. I said yes, and after we got married he changed a lot. He was really nice around everyone else, but with me he would yell at me for every little thing or never speak to me unless he wanted sex. He also would go out to clubs and meet other women. I think he has cheated on me, but I don't have proof. To this day, he has a second social media account where he follows naked women and tries to message them on Instagram and Twitter. I tried explaining to him that it hurts my feelings when he yells at me and corners me. It makes me feel like he's really going to hurt me. He has hit me a few times but I didn't bruise or anything. I also explained to him that it makes me uncomfortable that he has wandering eyes online and that he's not loyal to me if he flirts with other women. I have told my mother about how he acts, but she told me I'll dishonor the family by letting my marriage end. The largest point of contention is the porn use. Our sex life is really bad. He is very mean and rough during sex and can't get to completion if he isn't. This really hurts me and I end up crying every time because it doesn't feel good and is painful. He also requests acts that are uncomfortable to me and are meant to hurt. When I say no and that we can have regular sex, he says that I'm a prude. He spends hours watching porn, especially since he works from home now and his company doesn't care if he uses a webcam. I've asked him to quit because I did research and found that porn is bad for you and makes your tastes more and more extreme. The type of sex he wants has escalated. I also asked if he would go to therapy with me and he told me fuck off basically. Sorry, this is venting. I'm just feeling so upset lately. My friend is also with a man who is addicted to porn, so I know I'm not alone. Is it selfish of me if I divorce and move? My friend and I have been both putting money in another account to leave. Would I be selfish if I sent divorce papers from a different state? I think he'll hurt me if I give them to him in person. Too long didn't read. I come from a conservative culture where divorce is taboo. I've been putting money in an account to get away. My husband is addicted to porn and our sex life is really bad because I don't like the rough sex he does. He is also physically abusive sometimes, but I haven't been hurt badly. Is it selfish if I leave? I will be posting to multiple subs because I don't know if people will see or respond to it. Update, I will be leaving him soon. Thank you all for the advice and love. I have to get everything together first. He is emotionally and physically abusive. The lack of bruising does not negate, or even mitigate his decision to put hands on you. Things will only get worse, and you need to get out before there's a chance for that to happen. Also, following those accounts is bad enough, but messaging them, this man sounds like a nightmare. Your partner should never coerce you into having rough sex that you are crying from pain in. He's hitting you and yelling at you. You need to leave. Son of my ass, your safety is more important. Honey, this is physical and emotional abuse. You need to get out as soon as possible. You are not a person to him. You're an object. You're saying he rapes you on a regular basis and hits you. He doesn't value you and frequently looks at other women. This goes much farther than a pornography addiction. Leave him as soon as possible. I am so sorry for what you've been going through. Like others have pointed out, his porn addiction is not the main concern here. You are being abused. Marital rape is real. I also come from a culture where divorce is frowned upon. It's not your fault. You are not being selfish. Please reach out for help that you need and get out of the marriage as soon as you can. I'm glad that you've been saving up for this. Is there a cousin or a trusted friend that you can count on? Also, a word of advice. Do not let him know of your intentions to leave. Please get away from him before he gets worse. She told me I'll dishonor the family by letting my marriage end. You will dishonor the family? This is crazy talk from centuries of female subjugation and brainwashing. He's already dishonored the family by cheating, yelling, and hitting you. That's the dishonor. I couldn't be part of a culture in which I'm worth less than a man and I'm shamed for it. It will only get worse because he knows you can't leave. You have to decide if you are okay with being dishonored or dishonoring, which is batshit crazy. or you want to stick around in this misogynistic shit show and be an unhappy martyr for the rest of your life. You only have one life and you spend it in misery. A family that believes that their daughters should suffer for honor are shit families with no honor, and they are families not worth preserving or defending. My F21 boyfriend M22 signed up for private lessons at the home of a girl he jerks off to. Throw away because of the context and also because he knows my main account. I've been with my boyfriend for the past 3 years, and we're both currently in college and not living together. I've known him longer than we've been dating, and that goes back years, and we've been best friends through high school and people thought we were dating before we actually were. However, I'm writing this because of something I'm uneasy and slightly bothered by, and I want to get another opinion on it and potential advice on what I should do, if anything. The reason I'm writing this is because of someone he was masturbating to, and I don't know the person personally or anything like that, and I also have no issue with him doing it as I also do myself and he's cool with. However, I'm aware that he gets off to certain people he follows on Instagram and sometimes saves certain photos he likes too, and the usual kink is yogis from what I've seen and the accounts he follows and Pornhub, and I've never really had an issue with it until recently. My boyfriend exchanged several emails with a yoga teacher who is in our area, and I saw them on his laptop that I frequently use, and she offered lessons through a nearby gym or at her home studio. And the one he signed up for was the one at her home. He didn't tell me about it, I found out about it myself, but she is one of the yogis that he follows on his account, and while he may or may not have gotten off to her specifically, I couldn't help but feel a little uneasy about it. I'm probably overthinking and overreacting, and I have no issue with him doing yoga or any hobby at all, but knowing his kink and how he didn't tell me about his messages with her for a couple of weeks, just makes me uneasy. Although I know that that's selfish and wrong to think on my part, and I haven't told him that I know about it yet, since I haven't fully processed my thoughts yet. However, given the context of his kink, I'm probably wrong for thinking this and know he'd never do anything like that, but I don't know if I'm being selfish to feel the uneasiness that I feel, and if I am, that's why I wrote this to find out, but if I'm not and just unable to think clearly, how should I go about it and potentially talking to him? How should I address it after he didn't tell me about it for weeks in the first place? Too long didn't read. My boyfriend signed up for private yoga lessons at the home of a girl he follows on his Instagram and didn't tell me about it, and I have no issue with him doing yoga or any hobby, but he has a kink of getting off to yogis, and he follows her along with other yogis on Instagram too. And I couldn't help but feel slightly uneasy while doubting myself and wondering if I was wrongfully assuming and overreacting or simply being selfish, and before I bought anything up, I wanted to ask here first and get yelled at if so that it sets me straight before I actually ruin anything. Oh girl, please dump him. It seems like deep down you know his true intentions, but at the same time you're also grasping at straws to find any way to rationalize his inappropriate behavior. He's gone from lusting over other women on the internet, to now trying to find them in person, and who knows if he would try to do something to them. Even if he didn't, do you really want a boyfriend who is constantly scouting out new women to lust over both online and IRL? He isn't worth another second of your time. You can do way better than this creep. What on earth are you getting from this relationship that you can't get from any other man on the entire goddamned planet? She's only 21 and only been with this dude. She doesn't realize no man or woman with an ounce of self-respect would let bullshit like this fly. Lol. He purposely hid the fact that he was basically going to go get a somewhat private lesson from his fave masturbation material, in the flesh. And you're trying to guilt yourself out of breaking up with him? Why? He intentionally left this out, knowing it was inappropriate. And I'm not basing the yoga teacher, she has nothing to do with it, but you know that's what he's thinking and the only reason he's going. Actually, if I were the yoga teacher, I'd be very uncomfortable giving a private lesson to someone who apparently masturbates to pictures of me doing my job _o. My ex was a beauty therapist, which including massage. Their salon eventually stopped taking men as clients because so many of them would jerk off when the therapist stepped out of the room for a moment. This was in a shopping mall, not some shady alley. Guys like this ruin it for everybody, especially the poor women who are just trying to do their jobs. Is anyone else concerned for the yoga teacher? This seems awfully predatory. I agree with you. It's weird. I wouldn't want to be the girlfriend or the yoga teacher in this scenario. Don't want my 28F boyfriend, 27 meters, getting drinks with coworker, 27F, alone. So I've been dating my boyfriend for 3 years and we live together. Not going to bore the details, but we have a healthy, happy relationship and I'm the one that came from a previous toxic relationship. I heard him on a work call mention to this new girl at work that they should grab drinks and chat. He's a pretty friendly guy and girls at work are usually drawn to him. I really don't find it appropriate to grab drinks with an opposite of the sex coworker one-on-one. Am I crazy? Sure, in a group setting, but to actively meet up just 2 people I find very weird. I know he wouldn't go if I told him I felt uncomfortable with it, but am I just being crazy and insecure? I know I would never just grab drinks with a new male coworker alone out of respect. My boyfriend has never done anything to make me not trust him, but I am a little damaged from previous relationships. Edit, just adding the fact that I heard him mention that he lives with his girlfriend on the call, so I know he has good intentions. Edit number 2, just reiterating that she's a brand new coworker that just started. They've never met before, so it's not like they are friends, so that's why it gives me blind date vibes. Don't know if this makes me more or less justified. Too long, didn't read. Boyfriend wants to get drinks with new female coworker one-on-one. Am I crazy for not wanting him to do this? Trust him and let him go for drinks with his colleague. It's 100% okay to have both men, female and everything in between as friends and spend time with them. If he loves you and she tries something, your boyfriend will set boundaries and reject her. Trust is key in relationship, and you have to let him have his freedom to hang out with his friends and coworkers, no matter their gender. Best way to find out if you can trust somebody is to trust them. Ernest Hemingway. I meet up with male co-workers and male friends from other walks of life for food and or other activities. I don't drink alcohol, but if I did then I'm sure there would be drinking involved. My husband just met one of his old work colleagues last night for food and a catch up. Sometimes he meets up with female friends to go for walks, cinema trips, coffee, food, even the theater if something comes to town that they're both interested in. In past relationships, and when I was younger and not as secure with myself, this would have been a problem. But I trust my husband completely. And I also did so much work on myself in my 20s that has enabled me to accept that humans have differing social needs that can't always be met by one person. My husband can't meet all of my social needs and I can't meet all of his. And I think it's good he spends time with other women and is able to nurture friendships with women. I've had relationships in the past where the guy had never spent any time with a female he wasn't interested in having a romantic/sexual relationship with, and let's just say they had a very limited experience/view of the female experience. Let's just say they had a very limited experience/view of the female experience. This is such a key point to consider. A man who is comfortable being not sexy at all friends with a woman is a man who sees women as more than sexual objects. He sees them as complete persons, with their own personalities, motives, and opinions, independent of men, just like men. This is the kind of guy you want to be with,